Welcome to Members Only, a show featuring CMAC members and the projects they produce. My name is Johnny Pacina, and I'll be your host for today. In this edition of Members Only, we'll be talking to August Coadio, the producer of Aquaba TV show. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be joined by August Coadio, the producer of Aquaba TV. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Members Only. Joining us now is August Coadio, the producer of Aquaba TV. Let's take a look. Welcome back, August. Thank you for being here, sir.
No, thank you for having me.
We really appreciate your time here. And I just want to mention too, with Faith, we have both sides of the spectrum here.
Right.
We have a beginner who's talking about their spirit starting, but you're one of the original CMAC members, aren't you?
That's correct.
And we're so happy to have you this whole time. You've made some great quality content, and you've stayed involved with CMAC. You make your productions through CMAC, and you're also studying production as well at school, right?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, CMAC came at that time in my life where I needed to really get immersed in my dream.
I see.
As a media producer. Mm-hmm. And so it happened that I was just starting my mass media production degree at Fresno State when CMAC opened.
Yes. Go
so
Bulldogs.
I was one of the few ones who had the opportunity pretty much to use both facilities to build project, and it was fun.
That's great.
Yeah.
And I always like to see that too, because you're having there's only so much you can do in school.
Right.
You have projects you have to do, you have to study, but when you have a place like CMAC to help out your education too, to help learn what you're learning in school, to reinforce it, to practice, I love seeing that. I'm glad you took advantage of that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And again, the beauty of it is everybody that pretty much work at Fresno State
pretty much
start
connected
working
to here.
here.
Yeah,
So I was pretty much in, I call it home. You know, in the beginning I had my joke, and when everybody's it's time to go, I said, no, I want a little spot here where I can sleep and edit, because, I mean, CMAC was the place to be, and CMAC is still the place to be.
It's the place
you know?
to be,
I mean,
exactly.
for somebody like me who's been dreaming about television when I was 8 years old, you know, I was fascinated when I saw my dad bring a little box of, and then I saw people in it, and I was like, how did they get in there?
How is
you
this
know?
happening right now? Yeah.
And so that was my goal. I was like 8 years old. I need to know how to put people on TV
And make productions.
and make
right?
a production.
Yeah.
And that was in Africa. You can imagine how in Africa possibly this opportunity can happen to me. Never. So
yeah.
I gotta travel. I gotta do a lot of traveling, and finally I find my heaven here at CMAC.
That's great.
And everything else kind of fall together as far as my goals and my project, all my dream, you know. So yeah, it feels good to be here.
Well, I'm happy to see that. And well, I'm sure after watching the highlight video that
Right.
our audience wants to know a little bit about your show and what it entails. It's a cultural heritage show, right?
Yeah. As we know, I'm from Africa, and I'm from the Akan tribe in Africa. And actually, the title of my show is Akwaba, which means welcome in the Akan language.
Okay.
And so, by creating Akwaba TV show was a way of bringing awareness to the cultural diversity of the Central Valley.
And there's a lot here.
And,
right?
and there's a lot
There's
here.
a lot here.
And I'm like, that's wonderful. How do we bring awareness to the fact that we are a diverse community? You know?
And yeah.
And so,
definitely.
and when we are diverse, how do we know? How do we kind of mingle? You know? And so I came up with that idea to bring it, you know, to create a talk show, a 30-minute talk show that's going to bring guests. We're going to come and share their personal experience, because in this day and age, people are more focused on what's come on TV, and sometimes on TV we can find some mentors.
Right.
We can find some people who can kind of give you some incentive in life, you know.
Right.
So I thought, why don't you invite some people that have shared experience in life, teachers, people who have something to say because they've lived life, to the community, to the children, so they can learn that, I mean, life is not too bad out there. There's hope
Exactly.
when you put your head to it. And then the second half of the show was to just showcase the cultural diversity of the Central Valley, you know. And so we start shooting, you know, dance shows like with the belly dance, the
Right.
belly.
Which I didn't even
dance
know
coalition.
existed, by the way. Because of
you
your
know?
show, I realized there's
Yeah.
actually is it a club, right, out there? Or is it an organization?
It's an organization. It's the San Joaquin Valley Belly Dance Coalition.
Wow.
So it's a big
Yeah.
deal. It's
Yeah,
a big deal in
definitely.
Central Valley. And I used to work with them because I have a background of performing artist as well. So when I switched a little bit my gear to
Yeah.
media production, I was like, you know what, the first thing to do is to promote that art, that cultural thing, because I mean, we live in the DNA, but sometimes you must know exactly where you're from.
I think there's a general understanding that most people might say, oh yeah, there's a lot of different types of people in Fresno, but they don't know exactly what that entails.
Exactly.
What types of events are out there, what kind of
Exactly.
performances you can see. And you've had, I mean, we just talked about the belly dancers, but you've had
I had belly dance.
belly
I
dance.
have Hawaiian dance.
yeah, Hawaiian dancers,
Hawaiian
that's
dance.
right.
We had African dance and drummers. We had
Native American
Native
dances
American
too,
dance. We had
performances.
Hispanic, Mexican music. I mean, we try to bring the beauty that the Central Valley is holding, and we don't see it unless there is Cinco de Mayo or there is
Right.
no. But why don't we can bring all these good stuff to our viewers
And
in the living room?
it's happening all the
Since
time,
we have
too.
CMAC,
Right, yeah.
of course. So
Yeah.
my way of just giving back to the community by just showing that cultural diversity is to produce these shows that pretty much help us understand who we are sometimes, because we get lost in the Facebook thing and we don't know who we are.
It's true.
And we got to get back to the reality of who we are before we seek every other things. You know?
And it seems like you're using CMAC to fill in that gap that's missing too, because mainstream TV, sometimes you don't get to see those types of cultural things that are happening out there. You don't get to see the stories that are happening in neighborhoods. You know, we get our general news, which is good. We need to be informed, but at the same time, mainstream TV doesn't have either the time or the ability to go out and really get and talk to these groups of people and get interviews. And it's alternative way of watching television.
I mean, from my point of view, television is supposed to be about culture. Television is supposed to be about education. Entertainment can be 10%.
Right.
But nowadays it's more 90% entertainment, 10% education, and 1% the real deal, okay? So I think CMAC pretty much is the structure that provide that missing link. You know, and again, I mean, I'm in a way culturally inclined with my, you know, my identity. And I believe that everybody should just be doing that because this is how you define yourself. You know, in this world where we have terror every step of the way. Once you don't know who you are, you cannot define yourself. You cannot take a position based on who you are. You're going to listen to this and just follow what he said, but you don't fit into that picture.
In a way, it kind of unifies us too a little bit, right? It's not just, oh, that group of people do that, you know, on this particular day, like on a holiday, for example. This is a part of their culture, and it's really fulfilling to be a part of that too. When they're welcoming and they say, hey, come check out our performance next week, and with that too, you can promote those events through your show as well, which you've done many times as well. Yeah.
Johnny, before I got to CMAC, I got to America. I traveled the world for 15 years performing.
Wow.
I was on stage for 15 years, and it was great.
I'm sure you learned a lot.
Right? I learned a lot. However, I felt after leaving that side of something was missing. These artists need to be represented the way they need to be represented. And we talk about mainstream media. No, it's not the way artists are being represented. They're being misrepresented. You know, and that is the creator. It's somebody that has to go deep inside of him to create something to make us happy. There's supposed to be respect in that level. But unfortunately, it doesn't happening anymore. It's about either the money or, see what I'm saying? And so I come from a background where, you know, culture is really important. So everywhere I've been around the world, every time I play my drum, I just start shaking my body because of what, everybody's amazed and they like it. I enjoy it. And it helped me really understand other people as they understood me. You know, so I don't judge people just by seeing them. I just have to be around that. They got to show me what cultural ground they have inside, you know, because you need to have something.
Definitely. August, we're kind of running out of time here, but I wanted to also talk about not only do you delve into cultural aspects of your show, but you also delve into certain types of problems, for example, air pollution. Like in the highlight video there, you put special segments in your show that interview people, talk about maybe how they grew up in the valley with asthma. You talk about the air quality. You talk about other things that also are issues in the valley. So talk about that a little bit.
Well, in fact, that was a class assignment when I was at Fresno State.
Oh, gotcha.
And I was supposed to come up with a 3-minute work.
Documentary for
an assignment. I was like, okay, I'm in Fresno. The air is really bad. I got to do something about it. I went on Facebook and made a casting call.
How did it work out? Did it work?
Worked out.
It did?
From friend to friend.
Great.
I got some people who say, hey, I'm volunteering. And so for me, it was a way to bring awareness again to the fact that we have a serious problem here in the valley, the air pollution. And how do we cope and how do we manage that? And so that was my way of contributing to that debate.
And you did a really good job on the video. I won't give away too much because I want the viewers to be able to go watch it themselves. But you had, I think, almost 3 or 4 different perspectives. You had people that had asthma. And you also talked to some experts who work for the Valley Air Control District, right? Yes. So you get all these, you hit all those points, and you're asking the right people, and it adds a lot of valid points to your show. And I love that segment of your show because you add that in, plus you have the other portions of the show.
I wanted to just give all the different, all the different facets of what air pollution is about and what it's entitled. What air pollution bring to us. How do we, how do we make sure that we can control that aspect? And so by talking to professional, at the Air Valley Coalition, they were able to give us what technically is the problem of air pollution. And talking to professor at a professor at Fresno State, about environment and geography, he was about to tell us, listen, this is a matter of being aware of our carbon print, ourselves.
And that goes back to your point about really making television and programming
Exactly.
for really important matters.
Important. Teach how to behave, not teach how to talk. It's more about how to behave, because if you don't want air to pollute, don't drive your,
a big,
your big
diesel
4x4 by yourself, sitting in it, driving from here to Walmart.
Right.
Come on.
Exactly.
Can take a walk, grab a bike.
Well, some great quality stuff. We're just about out of time, August. So thank you for sharing your personal touch on how you develop your videos and make your ideas. We really enjoy your time and talking to you here today. So
thank you,
I know we're going to see more of you. So
thank you,
looking
Johnny.
forward.
I appreciate you having me here. And thank you for watching CMAC. It's the place to be where you have great quality show.
Yes. He's speaking the truth. Well, that wraps it up for today's Members Only. If you'd like to see more about the shows we've talked about today, you can look for them on CMAC's channels, Xfinity 93 as well as Uverse 99. If you don't have either of those, we are on the web at cmac.tv, and we have a live stream where you can watch live programming as well. Thanks again to our guests Faith Aisagohi and August Coadio, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.